Happy Saturday everyone. I hope your coffee's strong and your breakfast is full of protein. Now this week I haven't lost any weight, not a single pound. And honestly, I'm not even worried because this is the part of the journey that people don't talk about enough, the weeks when nothing moves, but everything's still working. I'm Amanda's Midlife, and I've been on this weight loss medication called Mounjaro now for around about 8 months. In that time, I have lost over 70 pounds. This channel documents the highs, the lows, everything in between in an open and honest and frank way. If it's bad, you get to know about it. If it's good, we all get to hooray together. And that's kind of what this channel's all about. This is my Saturday video, and it is a Q&A where I do my best to answer the questions that you've sent in, and I do a little weekly update just to let you know how the week's gone, whether I've lost, whether I've gained, whether I've stayed the same. And as you already know, I have stayed the same this week. And I'll talk you through why that is when we get to the weekly update. But we're going to start this week with the Q&A, and let's see what questions we've got this week. Right, so the first question this week is from Daco Smith 6, and I do apologise if I've pronounced that wrong. So Q&A, you mentioned in previous videos that you went from 2.5mg to 3.7mg dose. Could you explain, or if possible, demonstrate how you set 3.75 in a 5mg pen? Right, I'm not going to demonstrate it because the video will probably get taken down if I start doing things that you're not supposed to do on camera, which is why I've always been reluctant to show me actually injecting myself. On the one video where I did do it, I had to blur it out for that very reason, because the last thing I want to do is get banned from YouTube. Basically, if you've got a 5mg pen, you do 45 clicks and that will give you a 3.75mg dose. Have a look on Google. Google Mounjaro click counter. Everything you will ever need for counting clicks is on that chart. I'm not going to put it on the screen because, like I say, people get quite funny about it. So the next question is from Vishal95335. I have a question. Since you've lost so much weight, your skin would become saggy, quite possibly around the face and belly. How are you dealing with that, and what do you plan to do to fix that? Right, I've been incredibly lucky, whereas I haven't got a lot of saggy skin. Whether that's down to the gym work, whether that's down to the supplements I take, or whether it's just pure luck. My gut feeling is it's pure luck. Some people lose a lot of weight and they end up with a lot of spare skin. Other people don't. I am planning on doing a video in a few weeks' time where I'm gonna do a bit of a skin reveal. I did one quite a while ago and I'm gonna do it again. So keep an eye out for that. But for me, if it's a byproduct of losing a lot of weight, then so be it. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm not going to be going down the road of skin removal operations because, one, I don't feel I need to, and two, it's a huge operation and a huge expense. So I'd more than likely, if I had a lot of spare saggy skin, I would probably live with it. But that's where I stand on that topic. But thanks very much for your question. So Shaxi5237 Q&A. What happens if you stockpiled and are click counting to split dose when the stock finishes, but the gap has been so long since you last got the medication prescribed, you may not be able to get Mounjaro anymore? What to do? I do get this question quite a bit, and my take is always this. If you can predict how long you're going to need to take the medication for, then you can negate some of that. The other thing you can, with these suppliers, you can spread it out a little bit. They are getting a lot more strict with the 1 pen per month rule. And if you start leaving it too long, then you are going to run into problems. My only consideration would be to try and stretch it a tiny bit. So you're doing 5 weeks instead of 4, and try and predict when you're going to need the medication, up until what point you're going to need the medication. But you're always running the risk, aren't you? It is a little bit of a gamble. But I also feel these companies want to sell you the medication at the end of the day because they're making money from it. So if you talk to your supplier, I'm fairly certain they would be more than happy to keep supplying you. Also, while we're talking about suppliers, I've recently changed to bulk pharmacy, I will leave a link down in the description, and you will get £30 off your first order with Bolt should you choose to go with them. Right, this isn't so much a question. I mentioned it in last week's video. I was sent in a reworked poem or prayer, and I'm going to read it out today, and it's called A Spinster's Prayer from Pam Ayres. I'm not going to do it in a Pam Ayres voice. I'm not going to do an impression of her, but she's got a very distinctive voice. If you don't know who it is, have a Google. But this was sent in by Flying Circus 808, and it's, oh, give me a Mounjaro man and make him thin and trendy, out, out with one that's stout and in with one that's bendy. He has lost his extra layers and has no fat to grab, only his wallet is straining to fund his weekly jab. Absolutely brilliant, love it. If anyone wants to send me in any other versions of that don't include any swearing and they aren't offensive, more than happy to read them out on the Q&A. Really appreciate that, Flying Circus 808. Yeah, brilliant, loved it. Right, now quickly before we head into the next question, I just needed to shout out this company called Loaf, and they are a wellness company. You think wellness, you're going to find it on this website called Loaf. So what they've sent me over is their Daily Essentials collection, which is nutritional support for GLP-1 users. Now, when you're taking weight loss injections like Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, GLP-1s, they are powerful tools for managing appetite and weight, but they can also affect how your body absorbs nutrients and handles digestion. And that's when you need the Daily Essentials collection. Now, inside this bundle, you've got a Daily Fuel, which is a high protein, nutrient dense shake, which has got 22 grams of protein. You've got Daily Balance, which is essential fats for brain, joints and skin. It's high in vitamin E and omega 369 blend. And you've got the Daily Flora, which is a 15 strain probiotic and prebiotic complex. I'm going to leave a link down in the description, and if you get yourself one of these daily collections, you're going to get a free shaker with it as well. I've been using it now for a couple of weeks, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. Right, next question this week is from Rob Brown, 5184 Q&A. How long did you go with 2.5 before you increased to 5 milligrams? I've been on it now for 6 weeks, and I've lost around 9.5 kilos, which I'm happy with, but I do feel like it starts to wear off about a day or so before my next injection. So I'm thinking of increasing to 5 milligrams when I get home. After 3 weeks working on an oil and gas platform, we are not allowed to increase our dose whilst we're working offshore. I did 4 weeks at 2.5 milligram, approximately 4 months at 3.75 milligrams, and about 2 months at 5 milligrams before recently going up to 7.5 milligrams. What I would say, Rob, is pretty much the entire journey I felt exactly the same. The last day or two, I've always been a little bit more of a struggle. But my opinion, and I'm not a medical professional, forgot to say that earlier, not a medical professional, is I like that. I want it to be like that. I don't want the medication to do everything for me. And for me, it's natural that on day 5, day 6 and possibly day 7 before you inject, the food noise, the appetite cues, they're going to return a little bit. It's whether you can deal with that, whether you can cope with that, and whether you can tie that into your routine of working offshore. Sort of gauge how you feel and just, make that decision before we go back offshore, whether you're going to raise your dose. Also be aware that when you raise your dose, it can increase the likelihood of getting side effects, as I've sort of found out in the last couple of weeks with 7.5 milligrams. But it's a great question, but only you will know the answers to it. Right, potentially going to struggle with the name of this one, but we'll give it a go. And it's Nicole Elia 3325. Sorry if I've got that wrong. Do you feel like you're treated differently now that you've lost weight? I feel like people that are slim get treated with more respect, which is sad. I don't know. That's such a good question. And I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I get treated any different. I don't feel like I get treated with any more respect. I get people complimenting me, and that's nice. But at the same time, and I've mentioned it before in previous videos, it does sort of stick in my throat a bit. As you're quick enough to compliment me that I've lost loads of weight now and I'm looking fitter and healthier and musclier and all the rest of it. But when I was a sweaty, chubby mess, you never pulled me to one side and said, look look at the state here, you need to sort yourself out. And I feel that that's what friends should be doing. They should be looking out for each other and saying, come on mate, you've let yourself go a little bit, haven't you? But that's probably a subject for another day. I honestly don't think I get treated any different. And I don't know in what circumstance or what scenario you are feeling that these people would treat you any different. I mean, see if you guys have got any sort of comments that you can make around that question, because I'd be interested to see what you'll think. But yeah, great question, and sorry I struggled to answer it a little bit then, didn't I? Right, so the next question is from Tilkov, and it's, hi, I've lost 20 kilos, 44 pounds in 3 months of Mounjaro, calorie counting and going to the gym 3 times a week. 4 weeks on 2.5 and the rest on 5. What do you think about taking creatine during a weight loss course combined with strength training? The available information suggests significant benefits, muscle building, strength, and better results in the gym. Most sources refute the common alleged side effects such as kidney problems, hair loss, and others. I take creatine, and I was taking it before I started the Mounjaro journey, and I take 3,000 milligrams every single day, and I take that in tablet form. It's a tricky one because taking creatine, you're absorbing water into your muscles, is my understanding as a non-medical professional, and that can affect your weight, and it can affect your weight loss, and it can affect you on the scales. My understanding, the benefits far outweigh anything else. You talk about muscle gains, and that's huge, obviously, because as you lose weight, you don't want to lose the muscle. You want to try and maintain that muscle. But there's also a lot of recent studies saying absolutely amazing things about creatine, that it's good for your brain. You know, there's so many benefits to it. Why not take it? It's certainly not going to do you any harm, as long as you can get your head around the fact that you might not lose weight as quick because of the water retention, then so be it. Right, this is a question that I missed and I can't find it in the spreadsheet, and it's from Derek East 6221, and he sent a little reminder thinking I was avoiding answering it, but really not the case. It disappeared, and more than happy to read any questions out as long as it's not going to be offensive, rude, or downright trolling me. So it's Derek East 6221, and it was a question regarding letting a third party use whatever Mounjaro was left in a pen rather than just disposing of it. A friend expressed an interest in using what I had left, as I'm only using 50% of it. I mean, I've been asked the same question and I've turned down. I've got a mate who said, oh, have you got any left? I'll have it. I'm going to say no. If it's such a risk, isn't it? You're giving it to someone who's not been prescribed it. Would you do that with any other medication that's been prescribed? Probably not. Is it going to do any harm? Probably not. Am I going to recommend it? Absolutely not. And if you decide to do that, you kind of do that at your own risk. Not something I would want to get involved in, and not something I would suggest anyone did. And it's also the same as, and I mentioned it in my 3-month update 5 months ago now, about people selling the medication on Facebook and the amount of fakes. Don't risk it. You really don't need to risk it to save the money. You have no idea what you're putting in you. And I know it's different than what you asked me, Derek, but I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out to the wider community to make people realise there's loads of fake stuff out there. Weekly update. Now, I'm going to rate this week as a 6 out of 10. And there's a number of reasons why. Firstly, early part of the week, side effects awful again. Now, I made the decision to inject in my leg on Sunday, and that's the first time I've injected in my leg in this entire 8-month journey. Will I be injecting in the leg again? Probably not, because Sunday evening, Monday and Tuesday, awful, bloated, windy, sulphur burps it's going to kill people eventually, my breath. So I won't be doing it in the leg again, just in case that was the cause. I was also working away in Cardiff, staying in a hotel, and I made a few iffy food choices. So that's why I'm only going to rate this week as a 6 out of 10, and that's the reason why I haven't lost any weight this week. But the main point for me and for anyone watching is these stores happen. If you go into the search bar on YouTube and you type in Mounjaro store, Mounjaro plateau, it's going to come up with hundreds and hundreds of videos, and a few of them will be mine as well. I know what it feels like to go for a store. I know what it feels like to go for a plateau. It's part of the journey, and that's why I'm not going to worry about it, because I know I'll be sat here in a week, or I'll be sat here in 2 weeks, and I would have lost weight again. It's all part of the process. So thank you ever so much for allowing me to share a little bit of your Saturday morning. As always, I appreciate your support so much. It means the absolute world to me. All I want to do is share the information I've learned over this journey. I want to share it with you so you can get the best out of your weight loss journey too. I'm certainly not an expert, I'm certainly not a medical professional, and I'm certainly not a guru. I just want to share my lived in experience with you. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Right, I'm going to leave you in peace and quiet now. Let you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you on Wednesday. And in the meantime, I'll leave a few of my videos on the screen for you to browse at and enjoy. And you can see where I started and where I've become now, and these little twangy bits on my neck that weren't there previously. But as always, appreciate your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all on Wednesday.